Today, I want to get you really focused on your messaging, and I want to get a bit more focused on the action-based stuff, like the tangible work that's going to get you results. Because I'm seeing so many people right now just consuming, 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 chasing that shiny object syndrome, and it's not moving them forward. And ultimately, that's going to really stagnate you in growing your business and getting the results you want. So, the whole purpose of magnetic messaging is to really focus you on more like a one thing. So, I want you today to take some time out. And if you can't do today because your diary's jam packed, then absolutely fine. But I do want you to make sure you plan this time in, like you are intentional. And intentionality, it's not even a word, but being intentional in your business is so important. So I want you to give yourself the time. And I want you to grab a piece of pen and paper because there is so much science behind writing things down and getting it noted. And I want you to really think around this. I want you to write in the middle of the page: feed my focus, starve my distractions. I heard this, I think, I don't know, it might have been something even like a quote from Michael Jordan or something, but it really got me thinking around, where am I really focused and where am I really distracted, and how is this helping me? Now, I want you to link this back into messaging. On this page, with that in the middle, I want you to write down everywhere you feel your message is being positioned in this world, everywhere you're getting it out. Because lots of people think, oh, I just want to get my message out to the world. Yes, but we want to get your message out to the world and we want people to be able to understand it. Because if you're confused, they're confused. And if we don't have the clarity as part of the messaging that you are communicating, then you will not be able to engage people as quick as you want to in order to take them through what I would call the sales funnel of top, middle, and bottom of the funnel. And that's all where the buyer behavior kicks in. And we want them to get to the bottom funnel as quick as possible where they buy from you. So if you're thinking none of this makes sense, I don't know what you're going on about, then you're going to want to inquire about how you can join my program, because this is all the work we talk around all the time, is how we get people through the funnel as quick as possible, their buyer behaviors, and ultimately they're getting them to make the right decision, of course, but we've got to be really clear on that. The process is in place. So back to this piece of paper, in the middle, you've got feed your focus, starve your distractions. I want you to write down, as I said, everywhere your message is being put out to the world. So I want you to note this down right now because it might drift away from you. I want you to write the content you post, all of the content places you put things. Is it Facebook? Is it LinkedIn? Is it Instagram? Is it TikTok? Is it Pinterest? Where are you putting your content right now when you post it onto social media? Get this down on one page, because when you see things written down, you see things differently. We need to be able to challenge the way you see things. Then I want you to write down whether you have an email subscription and list, which really you should have. It's not I'm not just saying this in a way that like should, I don't really always like, but this is something you should have. You know, I absolutely noticed the difference in revenue when I had more people on my email list, and an email list where I have an open rate of, I think, around 50 to 60% every email, which is pretty good. I target myself quite hard, but I keep my pipeline really cleansed as well. So every 3 months, I go through and I take off everybody who is not active in my email list, or people that have just been still sitting on there, but they've unsubscribed, because that's sometimes what some systems do. So you want to just make sure it's really clean as well from a sales perspective. So back to here, write down like if you've got an email list, because ultimately you're going to be putting a message through your email to people. The lives that you do. So do you go live on platforms? Are you live doing a story or a live on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok? Like, where are you showing up live? Because you'll be demonstrating a message in a very different way when you are showing up live. And then I want you to write down the masterclasses, webinars, all these things you do, like that you host. What is the message that you're putting out through those? And then the other one is to think about like podcasts. If you go on any podcast as a guest, which is a great sales strategy, or if you have your own podcast, again, another great pet sales strategy. Hint, pro tip here: if you don't have a podcast or you're not getting on podcasts, you want to. I notice again that the more podcasts I got onto as a guest and the more podcast episodes I was consistent on, which is now 2 a week roughly, like everybody would listen in. So it was very rare would I have a sales conversation with somebody that they hadn't heard my podcast, because like it connects us in a very different way when we hear tone. I'll give you a quick example of this, and we'll come back to this. But I remember wanting to work with somebody a few years back in marketing. She looked amazing, you know, like always saw online, very credible, great authority. I heard her speak, very, very high pitched, like, and it wasn't about her. She was incredible what she did. It just wouldn't have synced for me personally. It wasn't how I worked. Exactly the same as some people won't like the way that I can speak super fast, that I'm very much like, let's go make it happen right now. And that I'm no BS. Some people won't like that. And that's cool. It's great. We need to embrace our strengths and our weaknesses. But again, you can see how quickly we can attract and repel people through our tone of voice and how we come across. And also, like I always say this example, but imagine if I was really like really slow on tone and boring, and would you really listen to my podcast? Or do you want the fact that I've got energy, that I'm ready for it, that I'm saying like, right, let's go, let's do it. Like people need energy is a big thing, in a normal way. And I'm probably repeating these things over and over because I say them over and over again. It's part of what happens with messaging is it repeat our message, and it's a powerful thing to do. But again, I'm just emphasizing how important this is. And if you're not doing this, it's actually quite simple, because all I'm doing is the same things over and over and over again to get more results. So take a little tip there. So back to this point around putting your messaging out to the world. I've given you a few ideas there. I literally want you to literally just flood that page with ideas, like brainstorm it down, get it out, pen and paper, and write it down, because again, brainstorming things will help you get the clarity. And when it comes to messaging, we need to have clarity is absolutely key. So get this all on a page and think about, where is my message put out to the world? Then what I want you to do once you've done that is, one, you can even share it with me. I'd love to see these and say, like, you know, when you've heard of something and then gone and done it and taken action, I'm all for that. So let me know. But I want you to write down the key priorities in terms of what's working well right now and what you need to do more of consistently. And then I want you to write down out of those the ones where your message is not communicating very well, because that's the area where we need to work on the well. And you need a bit of both. You need to look at what's doing really well for you when it comes to communication messaging and do more of that. But also I want you to, and what I'm saying there is feed your focus, but also I want you to look at what's taking your distractions and let that go, or decide how can I make that work. For an example, I want to get more of my message out through Facebook ads. Now, at the moment, it's a distraction for me because I'm like, oh, I need to know more about it. I need to get the training and all of this. So when I did this process, I was able to identify that the focus part, like, yes, I do want it. Then I was like, but do I need to do it? And I was like, no, I don't. Someone else can. So I'm not distracted by the training part and the stuff that I'm rubbish at. I've given that to somebody else to make it happen. And I'm now working on that. So in time, that become a strength, because I'm a believer that it's not about the tools. It's about like how you use your tools. And if you can't, like Facebook ads not working, it's not about Facebook ads don't work. It's that you can't make them work. So again, feed your focus, stop your distractions, get this done, keep it super simple. You'll find it harder than I've just relayed it here when it comes to doing it. You'll find it takes longer, and that's okay. Do it, but make sure you lean into it, because it's really help you get super focused on a messaging that you're putting out to the world, and more intentional about what you're putting out there. So, as always, I really hope you've enjoyed this podcast today on magnetic messaging, and it's taught you something that you didn't know before, or potentially change the way you saw things. All I want to do is expand what you think is possible and get you thinking differently in your life and your business. And I really value your feedback on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. So just go across to one of those platforms, click like, leave a review and a comment about what was great. Or what I want you would like me to improve on. I'm really here for the feedback too, but it gives me the ability to know what's working and isn't, and also it gives me the ability to go to be really credible to the best people in the industry for my personal growth, finance, entrepreneurship, to be able to then share more things with people and help them. And if you like how I think and how I work and the way I see things with this channel, it's going to be invaluable for you in helping you live life and create success on your terms. And I just ultimately want to make sure I had the best material for you.